Following my training at MD Anderson in surgical oncology, I've now been in practice for about 19 years. I'm in a practice now where I just do melanoma and sarcoma work. Melanoma got up close and personal for me about 10 or 11 years ago when I diagnosed my brother with melanoma. So he was doing some work for me and was coming down to visit in South Georgia and had been telling me that he had an enlarged lymph node in his neck. When he came to see me and I looked at him, I knew that there was a problem because I could tell the lymph node was definitely enlarged. I told him that what we needed to do was to do a biopsy of it and find out what it was, and actually we did that right then and there in my office. You know, I had numbed up the skin and cleaned it off and made an incision and gotten into the lymph node, and it was black. I can remember my knees kind of feeling a little weak because I pretty much knew what was going on and what it was going to show. So we sent a specimen off to be tested, and I got a call about 2 or 3 days later from the pathologist confirming that it was in fact melanoma. So I drove up with my family, and the next day we went over and talked to he and his wife. And as you can imagine, that was a very devastating time in his life. From day one, he was looking at probably no better than a 25% chance of cure. I knew the people at MD Anderson that I thought he needed to see and got an appointment arranged, and he was seen out there fairly quickly and underwent surgery, which involved complete removal of all the lymph nodes in the left side of the neck. About 6 or 8 months after it started, he was found to have a small metastasis in his brain. He actually went about 1.5 years where he was being followed very closely. He had a few treatments that he was doing, but I'll never forget, it was in June of 2006 that he went out to Houston for a regular checkup, and they would always do CAT scans and MRIs of his brain. And he called me on the phone and he said, "It's everywhere." You know, the test had shown that he had several new brain metastases. He had a lot of lung metastases, liver, it really had taken off. About 4 months after he knew that it had shown up and had widely spread, he passed away. I think that the experience of my brother having melanoma and dying from melanoma has allowed me to share that experience with patients. I know what it feels like to wait in between exams when you're scared to death that, you know, the doctor's going to find something different. You know, I know what it's like to have x-rays done 1 week and have to wait a week or 2 until you find out that they're okay. You know, I think it allows me to try to be even more compassionate with my patients and understand that we can take the next step with our patients and try to avoid those difficult scenarios with them as much as we can. It's a tough time, but I tell you, it's, you know, there's nothing more intimate than going through the death of a loved one with that person. It's quite powerful. So cherish those moments.